Throughout history, people have invented many machines that forever changed the world. The Gutenberg Printing Press is one of these revolutionary machines. It all began in 1440 when a man named Johannes Gutenberg had an idea on how to make printing so much faster. Unknown to him, his invention would kick off the information age long before the internet was even conceived. To give you a little context about how important Gutenberg's printing press was, before its invention, virtually every book and every document was a manuscript. The production of even a single page was an arduous and time-consuming task. Everything had to be written by hand. Books were expensive, and only very popular texts of universal appeal were likely to be reproduced. The painstaking effort that went into making a copy of a book was enormous, and it was a luxury only a few could afford. In fact, one book in the 14th century could cost as much as a house. But Gutenberg saw beyond the difficulty. He imagined a world where books were accessible to all, and his printing press was the gateway to that future. Contrary to popular belief, Gutenberg didn't invent the printing press, nor did he invent printing. Printing had been available for centuries, and woodblock printing had been used in China and Korea for a very long time. But Gutenberg's genius was his printing press, which used movable type, that is, small metal pieces with raised backwards letters. These small metal pieces were the building blocks for any text you may want to print, such as lower and uppercase letters, punctuation marks, and abbreviations. These individual items were then cast in quantity as mirror images and assembled to form words, lines, and pages. The movable type allowed the printer to arrange individual metal letters and characters in any combination to create text. And this made it possible to produce books in large quantities relatively quickly and at a much lower cost. Imagine Lego blocks but tinier, with each block a letter or a symbol, all ready to be shuffled into any order. This meant pages could be set up once, cast in ink, and then pressed onto paper again and again. Suddenly, making books shifted from a long grind to a sprint. This innovation made it easy to duplicate pages by replacing only the necessary letters, significantly speeding up the printing process. The first major book printed using Gutenberg's press was the Gutenberg Bible, completed around 1455. The Bible was incredibly important at the time, and the mass production of it signaled a new era in the history of reading, literacy, and religious reforms. With the gates to knowledge flung wide open, the printing press enabled the spread of ideas and knowledge across Europe and beyond, fueling the Renaissance and the scientific revolution. With the availability of printed books, information and ideas could be shared more widely and rapidly than ever before. The printing press played a crucial role in the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century. In 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door in Wittenberg. But just several weeks after that very public show of rebellion, copies were being printed in London. And it didn't stop there. They were printed and distributed widely, challenging the authority of the Catholic Church and encouraging religious reforms. Luther used the printing press to broadcast his message to average readers across German states, even choosing to write in German rather than Latin. His translation of the New Testament sold 5,000 copies in only 2 weeks, making him the world's first best-selling author. Prior to the printing press, such a revolution would have been much easier to quell, often as simple as making the perceived troublemaker go silent and destroying their notebooks. But now that new ideas could be printed and distributed quickly and easily, new ideas were much harder to contain. It led to a significant rise in literacy rates. As books became more accessible, more people were able to learn to read. This expansion of literacy had a profound effect on education, social mobility, and the spread of knowledge. The printing press not only influenced the world of literature, but also had a significant impact on various fields of knowledge. Scientific discoveries and theories, political treatises, historical records, and philosophical works could now be shared more widely, accelerating the progress of human civilization. Of Gutenberg's invention, Mark Twain wrote, "What the world is today, good and bad, it owes to Gutenberg. Everything can be traced to this source." Fast forward, and the legacy of Gutenberg's invention is everywhere. Newspapers, magazines, the deluge of content we scroll through daily, all trace back to that moment when movable type met paper. It set the stage for a world where ideas could multiply and spread, laying the groundwork for the interconnected, information-saturated society we live in today.